Welcome back, guys, to the Jake Ellenbogen channel. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today we're going to be talking about a very simple debate here, whether or not the Los Angeles Rams should go after Todd Gurley. Before we get into it, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and a like. You can also follow me at JK Bogan on Twitter and at Downtown Rams also on Twitter. Now let's get into it. So I've been seeing a lot out there. There's no way the Rams should sign Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley's washed. Todd Gurley is injury prone, yada, yada. Well, here is something that, in case you haven't really noticed, Todd Gurley is an interesting prospect here for the Rams. And here's why. Because Todd Gurley doesn't have to be the number one back for the Rams. Now, recently, Bleacher Report just threw a notification to me saying that a source has the Rams claiming that Todd Gurley they do not view as a starter. That's fine. He doesn't have to be a starter. And do you know why? Because they have Daryl Henderson. But if you for a second aren't a little concerned, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Xavier Jones. I like Otis Anderson. I like Jake Funk, and I like Raymond Calais. But let's look at the facts here. Aside from Daryl Henderson, no one else on the roster has logged a snap in the NFL on the offensive side. No one is logged a carry. You have a rookie, you have an undrafted rookie, you have last year's rookie, and then you have a last year's undrafted rookie. Well, if you remember, the Rams also tried this late round pick in John Kelly and UDFA and Justin Davis. That didn't go anywhere when Todd Gurley went down, and so the Rams went out and got CJ Anderson. Now, here's the interesting thing with Gurley. It's not the same exact offense that he was running with the Rams in 2019, but it's not that far off from being that type of offense, first off. Secondly, we want to talk about how injury-prone Todd Gurley is. He may have lost burst, and unfortunately the arthritic knee has held him back. But let's not forget, Todd Gurley has played more games than Daryl Henderson, Cam Akers, and Malcolm Brown since 2019. So with the Rams, he played 15 games. With Atlanta, he played 15 games. So as injury-prone as Todd Gurley is, so to speak, he's only missed 2 games over the last 2 years. Last year, at one point or another, he was third in rushing. His yards per carry average isn't very good at 3.5. The Falcons' offensive line wasn't exactly very good. That's first off. Secondly, he would have led the Rams in carries, or not carries, he would have led the Rams in rushing yards. He would have led the Rams in rushing touchdowns, would have led the Rams in games played. And so he's getting a lot of flack here, but I don't really understand why. I don't really get it. You're just asking to bring in another guy, a guy that has experience not only in the league, not only playing at a high level, but with this team, with Sean McVay. It's not about if you want Gurley. At this point, it's about if Gurley wants you. And if you ask yourself, why would they sign Todd Gurley right now? It's a good question. Why would they? Because here's the thing. You don't want to sign Todd Gurley right now. You don't want to have him go through a long training camp. You don't want to have to play him in preseason games. That's a guy that you would just sign and then just kind of move him in as time went on. You'd sign him right before the season started, and there you'd be good to go. That's why Todd Gurley signing right now, that doesn't make any sense. Why would he go to training camp and risk getting hurt? So I understand Adrian Peterson is out there as well, and I've been a proponent of Adrian Peterson for a long time. I still think he's got it, but I think Gurley makes more sense because Gurley, one, he knows the offense better than anybody that's available. 2, he offers a 6'1", 224 frame that they don't have on the roster right now. And 3, This guy scores touchdowns, whether you like it or not. Here are Gurley's touchdowns since he entered the league in 2015. 10 rushing, 6 rushing, 13 rushing, 17 rushing, 12 rushing, 9 rushing. If you do the total of that, altogether, that is 67 rushing touchdowns since 2015. Over the last 2 years, his worst years, so to speak, bum Todd Gurley is over 20 rushing touchdowns over the last 2 years. And in total, he has 23 total touchdowns, including receiving. And that's over the last 2 years alone. In total, he has 79 total touchdowns. So this guy is not only, he's going to be turning 27 very soon, within the next, I think, 3 days. So not only is this guy only 27 years old, he knows your offense. He's outproducing what you have on the roster. And I love Daryl Henderson. And to be quite frank with you, Daryl Henderson can take the load, and I think he'd be fine. He was a better running back last year than Cam Akers. Everyone looks at what Cam Akers did in the postseason, but they don't look at what Daryl Henderson did throughout the season, and the fact that Sean McVay really never gave him a heavy dose of carries. His best games, he still only had a maximum of 22 touches. I mean, he is not a guy that was given 30 touches. That doesn't mean he can't have them, and so also when you factor in Matthew Stafford, you factor in this new passing attack, I do think Daryl Henderson can get this thing going, but it's nice to not force him to have to carry the load and grab a guy like Todd Gurley. If everybody's worried about him getting hurt, I don't really understand it, because all I've seen is that Todd Gurley has only missed more than 3 games in a season once, going back to his rookie year, in which he was coming off the torn ACL in college. So this idea that Todd Gurley is injury prone and that he misses all these games and you can't count on him is just a farce. I don't think people have gone and done, the numbers there. He played 73 games with the Rams. He started 72 of them. He started and played 15 games with the Falcons, although it says he started. He really didn't start. He got benched halfway through the year. I hate to break it to you guys that don't like Todd Gurley. You're going to get a guy in Todd Gurley that can help you. He may not have the burst he used to have. That doesn't make him a bad option to back up Daryl Henderson. It doesn't make him a bad option to be a red zone threat. Because here's the thing. You put him in at the goal line, there's your goal line back. You put him in at 3rd and 1, there is your short area back, short yardage back, your situational back. You don't have that. And so it makes sense, if you don't have a guy like that on the roster, it makes sense to go out and get that said guy. And to me, that's what I feel like they'd be doing with Todd Gurley. So that's how I see it. I don't really see a reason why Todd Gurley shouldn't come back on the Rams side. If the Rams want to roll with what they have in-house, I'm not going to hold that against them. But this idea that Todd Gurley is going to hurt the Rams anyway is ridiculous. Now, would Todd Gurley come back? I don't know, but I would not rule it out. And I think guys like Eric Dickerson coming out and speaking on it and it getting passed around a little bit, it might honestly happen. I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. If Todd Gurley was willing to put everything behind him, he gets a job, he gets to play for a team that has a chance to get, win him a title, or he has a chance to win them a title, help them out. I mean, this is a Super Bowl contender. I have them winning the Super Bowl. So a ring, redemption in a sense. I mean, he did so much for the Rams, but he gets to come back and, potentially help them finally propel them to the Super Bowl. So those are all in play. A job and the workload, where you don't have to worry about him getting banged up because he's not going to take on 200-something carries. So, look, I don't know what happened entirely about that whole thing with Todd Gurley. I know the Rams and Todd Gurley, it didn't end well. But my question is it more it didn't end well and it sounds worse through the media and it sounds worse to us and internally it wasn't that bad? Or is it actually that bad? And we'll find out. But don't forget, the Rams pissed off Eric Dickerson, and Eric Dickerson now is an ambassador for their team. And he comes back and he comes out. He's always talking about who they should pick up and who they, what they should do. He's stuck by the Rams. So, I mean, this is a team that traded him away because they refused to pay him. I mean, he demanded a trade. But it's not like we've never seen this before. So, what I'm saying here is to give this a chance. I'm not 100% saying it's going to happen, but I wouldn't rule it out entirely. Because stranger things have happened. Marshawn Lynch went back to Seattle. If they gave Marshawn Lynch the football at the 1 yard line, they would have won a Super Bowl again, and it would have been because of Lynch. So I'm sure he was still pissed at that. Not the same thing. He still went back way later to the Seahawks and played for them. But, this idea that Todd Gurley is going to bring him down, I just think is ridiculous. So you guys let me know in the comments section below, what do you think about bringing Todd Gurley back? Personally, I love Todd Gurley, but I'm taking my fandom out of this, and I just am looking from a logical perspective. If anybody is telling me that Todd Gurley doesn't produce, that's simply not true. He had 21 rushing touchdowns the last 2 years. He's played 30 games the last 2 years. I mean, I don't understand how you could tell me he hasn't produced. And on top of that, he came close to having 2,000 scrimmage yards over the last 2 years. Close to it. He would have had more rushing touchdowns, more rushing yards, and more games played than anybody on the Rams roster last year. That's a fact. That's not, anything like I'm exaggerating. That actually is a fact. I'm talking straight up facts here. He's 27 years old. What if you sign him to a 1 year deal, wins a title, feels welcome, he stays there, Cam Akers comes back, you have those three. It's like him being Malcolm Brown, essentially. He can obviously pass protect. That's not a question. He can obviously score touchdowns. He scored 9 last year in the year everyone was saying he was a bum. And he doesn't miss games, really, ever. So that's my case for Todd Gurley. Hope you guys enjoyed. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You guys take care, and I will see you guys soon.